I believe in God because God saved my life from suicide when I was 14 years old. Well, feelings aren't always facts.
Was it a traumatic experience where you had no one to turn to?
It was an awakening, and it introduced me to God in a way that it changed my life. I went, showed up, looking like Walter Mercado's left nut. Something's coming, I can feel it. And then the circle came.
Nobody ever asked me that question before.
What the hell? Stop.
Niggas, I ain't coming on the show again. I come in here, it looks professional. Tune into the content.
Like you were telling you guys, I'm like,
I like when people have good questions.
But with that being said, guys, I want to introduce you my special guest today. If you haven't already put two and two together, I am sitting with Chris Sapphire.
Howdy, kitty cats out there in the virtual land. I'm so proud of him. I'm here just admiring his studio and what he's done. I'm like, you better have a dream. I'm very spiritual. They say those without a vision perish. You better get that vision.
Man, I'm so happy to have you here today,
Thank you for having me. I haven't had breakfast or anything. Just half of an oatmeal cream pie.
Really?
The Little Debbie. And speaking of, I was eating those like crazy at home, the Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies, the large ones.
Yeah.
Until the other day I got curious and I said, I wonder how much sugar is in this. And I turned the box around and it said 25 grams of sugar in one oatmeal cream pie.
That's almost as much as you get in a can of Coke.
Well, that's scary too. You guys out there watching, YouTube how much sugar is inside of a Coke or whatever. And when they show you the physical amount of sugar, this is why we are in the predicament we're in health-wise with a lot of our culture, our people. Y'all know how there's diabetes everywhere because of that. It's like someone saying, here you go, honey. Here's all this sugar. And you're like, thank you. And just start eating it. It's just...
The crazy thing about it is that the sugar is so soluble, so you can put so much in water.
Oh, so much. Do you remember being a kid putting it in your cereal?
I remember that.
Yes.
But I also remember going over to some of my friends' house, and they would say, oh, no, you're not making Kool-Aid the right way. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, you're supposed to boil the water first. I'm like, why? And you know what they said? They said, oh, because it holds more sugar that way, so it makes it sweeter. I was like, what?
Oh my God, that is wild. And we would drink it too, and be happy as hell.
I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I have no regrets, child. Live your childhood. But when the doctor starts saying, take notice. For example, I was at the hospital the other day. They did some blood work, and he said, I'm happy to tell you ain't got diabetes. I said, oh, thank you, God. He goes, but you do have high cholesterol. I said, oh shit. So now I have to watch what I eat. And I've been watching what I eat for like 3, almost 4 months. I've lost all this weight. I'm so happy though. I've been wanting to lose weight, and I feel like God works in mysterious ways. So here we are.
That's crazy. So let me ask you, okay, I got a whole bunch of questions that we want to go over. But
Yes.
To you losing the weight, what made you put on a bunch of weight that you wanted to say, okay, this is enough for me. Like, I need to cut this down.
Well, it was COVID where I had put on some weight. After the circle and everything, COVID hit. I was stuck at home, bored out of my ass. There was a Jack in the Box. There is a Jack in the Box down the street from my house. So I would go to Jack in the Box religiously. Those egg rolls dipped in the ranch. Dude, ain't that just a blessing from God? Oh, my goodness.
You know, for me, I mean, the egg rolls are cool and all, but I was kind of excited when they brought back the potato wedges.
They brought them back?
They don't call them potato wedges anymore.
What are they now?
Jeanette, what are they called now?
Oh, I have no idea.
They're like
loaded something.
Loaded something.
Loaded?
Yeah,
Sure
you'll see. There's a picture. There's a picture on there now, but it's not potato wedges. When you order, you got to order it a different way, like loaded cheddar fries or something.
Oh, those were so divine back then with the bacon and all the cheese. Dude being drunk as fuck at the drive-thru at 3, 4 in the morning, just ordering all that. Oh, have you ever been so turned up? You wake up and there's Jack in the Box all over the bed, tacos and burgers.
Man, talk about that, man. That was like when I was a teenager. Right before we came in here, I was telling you that story about, my homeboy taking off my car when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So it was around that time where, it was me and my sister. She was a junior. I was a senior. We both got our first jobs. That's when my mom moved out and said, hey, you're going to stay with the apartment for the next year. So if y'all don't want to come live with me, you keep it, but you're paying the rent. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. So all of our nights were like that. After school, get off of work, Jack in the Box, getting somebody to buy us alcohol or buying weed at the time. And it was just,
That's the life growing up in Dallas for some of us.
So I remember. Oh, okay, so you said you live with your mom. How long do you still live with her? Or do
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes, I am still there with my mom, my dad. I help out as much as I can to contribute because they're retired. And actually, after I got off the circle, a lot of that success, a lot of the success. My dad lost his job, unfortunately, after almost 40 years. They let him go during COVID. Just horrible, horrible. And mom had retired a little bit prior to that. And I think my brother was still going through school. So I'm very grateful to God to have that opportunity to provide for a whole Latino family type deal. So I have no regrets. I had dreams to build my own little tiny home and, really just do my thing. But God had other plans, and I'm all right. I'm enjoying the journey. We all get along so well. It's just me and my dad and my mom. That's it, us three in this house. And so they know I'm always traveling or working, doing my thing. So we get along wonderful. My mom, you guys, was an aspiring model and a Tina Turner impersonator in the 80s. So that just tells you how much we get along. Now, my dad is from Durango, San Bernardo, Durango, Mexico. Two polar opposites, and they gave me life.
So with that in mind, what do you think you take away from your dad, and what do you think you take away from your mom to make the mix that is you?
Oh, God. Everybody tells me I have my mom's personality, but I think my dad, they're both super outgoing people, super duper charismatic. So I am like a mixture of both. My dad is very loyal. My mom is very outgoing, larger than life, very exaggerated. So since I was a child, I've always just naturally had the exaggerations and everything from my mom, I used to leave the house and go eat at Gloria's with lipstick and eyeshadow, be sitting there eating chips and salsa like a drag queen with no titties and no wig. It was just beyond. And people just staring at me, and I'm just having a ball. And I was living.
Okay, which Glorias are we talking about? The one over there in Bishop Arts or what?
Oh, all of them. I would sit my ass at the one over there on Lemon Avenue in front of Uncle Julio's. And my bestie, Victor Louis, he'd just stare at me like, what in the world is this creature? Couldn't get enough. He lives for all of the shenanigans.
No.
But I've kind of toned down since then because I love all that. It's a lot of work. And I'm 36 now.
And do you feel like, so going in through all those shenanigans that you're doing, when did you start feeling your age?
I still feel very young inside. I'm just constantly reminded by people out in the world, you know who you are, that I'm 36. And God willing, in a few weeks, I'll be 37. So I'm very grateful to still be here. My goal was to make it to 23 because I love Selena Quintanilla so much. And I'm like, bless her heart, she only made it to 23. I'm like, I have to make it to 23. And then as the years kept going and going and going, I'm like, well, I'm living for you too, boo. I'm living for you too,
That's
boo.
really nice to hear. It's funny because the one thing I can relate about that statement that you made is the fact that I tell people all the time, I was like, if you acknowledge your age, you're going to start to feel it. Because I hear people all the time, they're like, oh my God, my body hurts, my legs hurt, my knees hurt. How old are you? 29.
29.
And then you know what they follow up? Oh, I'm so old. I was like, bro, I'm 28, but I never tell myself I'm old. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody sleeps on the wrong side of the bed from time to time.
Yes.
Or their legs hurt because it's raining. I don't know. Then maybe that's just me. But I choose to not acknowledge my age as being old because I feel like it's kind of like when you I don't know. I'm not really big on manifesting at all. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like cheesy just to speak it because you honestly have to do the work to get to there where you got to go. But that's besides the point. I just feel like if you say that, oh man, I'm feeling old, or oh, I'm getting old, or you're going to get older quicker than you realize.
Well, feelings aren't always facts. See, that's the good thing. When we start to learn to question what we think or what are we believing, then you can really jump out of yourself. There are days I feel older, but then there are days I feel very young and bright and full of life. Thank God feelings aren't always facts. Now, between you and I, if we were to ask an 80-year-old or somebody in their high 70s, oh, I feel old, and they're like, boo, you're 28. They would do anything to be 28 or 36. Again, this is the best time of our lives. Speaking of 28, I didn't get hangovers until I was 28. How are you doing?
I'll be honest with you. I don't get hangovers as much, but that's only because I don't drink as much anymore. Like, I remember when I was a bit younger, I would always drink after work or out with my friends quite a bit. But I kind of stopped going out a lot, especially whenever my homeboy and his girlfriend, they invite me out. They're like, hey, come out, come out, come out. I'm like, I don't know, because I know I'm going to start drinking. Then I'm not going to feel good in the morning. So I don't drink to get drunk anymore. I guess if I do drink, it's maybe a drink at a restaurant or a drink at home. Or maybe it's just 2 White Claws in the fridge after I get off of work on an empty stomach while I eat my food. I'm just chugging them to feel a little buzz.
Honey, have you tried the alcohol-free beers out there?
I can't say that I have, but it's not like I'm craving that. Like, if anything, like just like you said, you went to the doctor and they told you about your cholesterol and whatnot. I go to the doctor on a yearly basis, right? And they told me the same thing. They're all like, "Oh, you're fine. All your numbers look good, but that cholesterol."
Oh, they've told you about your cholesterol. You know what that means, right?
No.
It means that we've been eating really greasy fried food for a long time and we need to cut it out. And actually, they taught me that if the grease solidifies and turns into a solid, then it's a grease you should not use. For example, like bacon grease or lard, which I really wasn't using that to begin with, but we need to use like olive oil, avocado oil, canola oil. Anything that stays a liquid is more healthier for your heart because we're young and we don't want to go down,
Exactly.
clog attack.
I know. That's the thing, though. Like, you see so many people who die young in their early 30s, and it's like, oh, heart attack. Like, how did you get a heart attack in your 30s?
Twinkies, bro. Twinkies and Jack in the Box blessing us with them tacos. You just got to have moderation, which... This has been a blessing in disguise, though, because I had been wanting to lose that weight, and it finally came off, all that COVID weight, and I'm so happy. I'm almost down to where I just want to be. So this has been a blessing in disguise.
So how does your weight compare to back when you were on the circle to you putting on at your highest and to where you are now?
Ooh, I knew I had put on weight, y'all, when them blazers I wore in the circle, the cheetah print and the star blazer and all that wasn't even closing no more. And so... that was a big indicator. And I see pictures of me from at that moment that I'm kicking it with my friends at that time period. And I was like, ooh, I had gotten thick. But right now, I'm pretty much back down to what I was during the circle. I mean, I got this little jacket on because it might be cold in the studio, but I'm pretty much back down to what I was. And I'm so happy. I got on the scale the other day and I said, oh, I ain't seen them numbers in a minute.
Which numbers?
It said 181.
That's pretty good. Especially with your height.
Yes.
In your height to weight ratio, that's really good.
Yes, it was 181. I'll let y'all know. I think the biggest during 2020, I had gotten up to 210. That's thick.
Yeah.
That's thick. Them thighs were thundering, But people are like, you didn't look big. It's because I know how to carry my weight very well. I wear fajas if I need to. I got to do what I got to do. And then I know about makeup and all that. So there's a way to disguise some thickness. But, honey, you are beautiful no matter what size you are. We're just talking about my cholesterol issues and how to lose the weight. Because the doctor told me if you lose the weight and the numbers come down, then it was your diet. If you lose the weight and the numbers are the same, we got to put you on medicine. I'm like, damn. Again, I'm 36. This is around the time where a lot of stuff starts, tickety talking for a lot of folks. So
it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because I remember reading this one thing on the internet a few months ago, and it's probably true because I chat GBC'd it. I was like, hey, is this true? Where people used to not live as long as we're living now because most people would die when they're in their 30s.
They would, honey. They would die very young because there was no antibiotics. People would die back then of an STD. People would die back then of a tooth infection. People would die back then giving birth. I mean, it's crazy. That's why, now this might sound a little buck wild, but bear with me, it's science. That's why for some individuals, puberty hits very early because of that. For most of human history, people were dying super young, so you had to create new humans young. That's why people were, back in the day, like,
now we're talking about the Stone Age.
We're talking about back then, wheelbarrows and the horse and the buggies, the whale water. I think people were getting married very young. Ask your grandparents. They will confirm they were getting married young back then. Do I condone getting married super young? Child, grow up, go drink, go explore the world, go get a career, do a lot of stuff before you think about settling down. Life is so short. Go see the world. Go eat a hamburger in the United Kingdom.
Go audition to be on Netflix.
Go audition and be on Netflix. Follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. They do come true. I know everybody says that, but it's very true. They do.
So I want to get back into these questions, but okay. Obviously, you have to have some sort of presence to be on like the TV show, right? But before that, what were you doing? You said you were really intrigued by tech and computers, cameras, all this stuff. So I would assume you had a previous career in media.
My life is like a modern day Forrest Gump. I have done a lot of stuff out of the blue, just random. I started my career off as a makeup artist. That makeup artistry led me to a bunch of like photographer studios, wedding studios, fashion designers. A lot of those photographers would tell me to come back because they wanted to take photos of me. Because back then I was just doing the whole makeup thing and they loved the look. That time MySpace was around. So I started putting those photos on MySpace and my MySpace started blowing up. At that time, American Idol was the biggest show in the world here in the United States. One of the contestants and I became friends over a website called Stickam, the early days of live streaming. Well, he had a massive fan base. He would let me take over his show. Shout out to Adore Delano. I love you, honey. At that time, it was Danny Noriega, now the fabulous Adore Delano. Would let me take over the show sometimes, and the following started growing for me too in my own little realm. When I thought about what to do with the rest of my life, because I was enjoying doing makeup and all that, but I was seeing how social media was starting to grow for me, I ran across a audition for a radio show in Dallas, one that you would learn how to interview celebrities, la, 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 la. And because of what I was receiving from the public doing that live streaming at that time, how they were enjoying it, I thought, well, maybe I should try radio. Mm-hmm. I go to the audition, get the job instantly, did that for many years. Internet radio, interviewed all these stars. Well, after doing that for a few years, I had a contract with World of Wonder, the people that do RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh. They were doing like YouTube shows and stuff. Yeah. Now, I didn't have millions of views or any of that, but I was producing a nice show at the time, and it caught the eye of the production people at the CW. So they reached out to me and they're like, would you be interested in doing TV? And I said, sure, why not? I went. It was supposed to be a one-time spot, just talking about celebrities, one-time gig, live TV too. Mm-hmm. And I went and did it and they loved it. And when I was driving home, they called me and they're like, would you be interested in doing this for the rest of the year? I said, yes. So next thing you know, I'm up there with my segment, me and Hillary Kennedy reporting pop culture for a whole year. And sometimes when the anchors were not there, I was on the main desk on live television. No. So I was soaking this all up. After that year ended, the CW decided to move along and create something new. So everybody went their separate ways. I get a call from my good friend Alyssa Edwards, who's a very world-famous drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race, telling me she landed her own reality show. And since I had known Alyssa since I was 18, she's like, I want you to be on my reality show. I said, let's do it, girl. So I went in, I was on Dancing Queen. And it was because of Dancing Queen that Alyssa calls me after the success of that show. And she said, they're going to call you in 20 minutes. I said, who is they? She said, there is a show called The Circle looking for people. And I think you'd be incredible because you know social media. And the rest is history.
Is that a good enough answer for you?
And so
no, most definitely. Yeah.
It is, and that's just in a nutshell. Because, honey, I did medical billing. I worked in retail. I used to be a receptionist. I have done so many things. I used to sell paintings because I know how to draw and paint. And The Circle was my biggest break. It changed my life overnight, which is very rare because a lot of times reality shows, you go on them and they don't blow up your following. They don't put you out on a global stage like that. But I was blessed that season 1 of The Circle was lightning in a bottle, especially because COVID hit. So we got 4 lives out of it. The debut, January 2020, New Year's Day, it debuted, blew up. Already I was at a party and my phone was already going crazy with people already watching it and loving what we were doing. Well, then COVID hit. That's its second life, ratings through the ass. Then, because it didn't air in the UK yet, but the show comes from the UK, finally, near the end of 2020, we got wind that it's going to air in the UK, the American version. So the people in Britain were so excited to see the Americans play The Circle for the first time because it was a hit over there. So that's its third life. The ratings were through the roof, top 10. And then when season 2 came out of The Circle with the whole new cast, everybody went back to watch season 1. 4 lives out of 1 season. It was a miracle.
A couple key things I take away from that nutshell story is the fact that you didn't give up what you were doing. You were persistent. But the majority of it came from networking. being yourself. And I know you guys talk about that on the show a lot. Oh, just be real, just be real, just be real. And essentially so the networking, being yourself, and I guess being persistent. Is there anything you could add to that, or do you think I've kind of hit it on the head?
Oh, that's hitting it on the head, because I had auditioned for tons of reality shows throughout the decade, and more than a decade. And I had been put on retainer for some shows, or I got cast on another show. But when I arrived back to Dallas from New York, the network dropped it all. They just decided not to go along with it. I had done auditions so much, I already knew what to do at the back of my head. So when the Circle, Alyssa called me with that news, I was kind of like, well, I ain't got nothing to lose. I was working on a little podcast I was doing at the time called The Gag with some good friends of mine. I said, fuck it, I'll do it. So the call comes in and I hit it off with the casting guy instantly. And he's like, we're going to come to Dallas. We'd love to meet you in person. So I went, showed up looking like Walter Mercado's left nut. And we hit it off. And I thought, okay, well, I've hit it off with a lot of casting people. It doesn't guarantee you're on this shit. So I get a call. We need you in Los Angeles for 4 days.
Is that where they filmed the show?
No, we filmed in Europe.
Oh, so you had to get like a passport and all that?
Oh, yes. But let me tell you about the passport.
Ooh.
Speaking of, I believe in God because God saved my life from suicide when I was 14 years old. Not to get real dark and deep, but it's the truth. One day I'll write a book. I get these feelings throughout my life that something's about to happen. And it's always a good feeling and something does happen. In 2019, at the beginning of the year, I told my mom, I need a passport. She said, why? I said, I think God's going to take me around the world for the first time this year. She said, well, let's get you the passport. When I got the call after I got back from the 4-day audition in Los Angeles, I get a call a few weeks later or a few days. We need you in France on Friday.
Really?
I told my mom, I told you. Mind you, before all of this, we would go to WinStar Casino a lot because my mom loves to gamble.
Oh,
and
bless her
sometimes
heart.
we would lose the money. Sometimes we win. But the days we'd lose the money and it's really hard, we'd be in the car driving and she's crying because she wanted to get dental implants. And she's like, Lord. And I said, Mom, don't worry. Something's coming. Something's coming. I can feel it. And then the Circle came. Mom has her teeth in her mouth. I always remind her, look at what God has done. Miracles are real. Dreams come true. I look at your set right here and it tells me you're a dreamer and a doer. Whatever you're aspiring to do, keep going in that direction because God puts those into your heart for a reason. And you're clearly good at what you're doing. And look what you've done. So keep running and don't let nobody stop you from what you're doing. This, what you're doing right here, is manifestation. I know we talked about that a little bit. Unbeknownst to yourself, you are manifesting without yourself knowing. Because when I did my little web show for the World of Wonder, the RuPaul's people, me creating that is what got the CW's eyes. So you creating this, you don't know who's about to see it and then call you and say, hey, would you be interested in doing this?
That's, you know what? That's kind of right. That's kind of right. Because I've had people who just see the content and they reach out to me. Hey,
yes,
how can you help me? What can I do to get to where you're at?
Exactly. You're doing it, boo. And you're studied. For everybody watching this, he knows what he's doing. The cameras, lovely. These microphones, I know about Rode. I'm very happy for you.
I appreciate that. No, it's weird because it's kind of hard to say compliments. I don't know. Maybe it's just growing up in a household where you never really got compliments from your parents.
Really?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. My dad was an overcompensator because he wasn't around except for the weekends. But my mom, it was always yelling. So you never really get compliments growing up. So now as an adult, whenever people give me compliments, like I feel them, but I don't know if this is the feeling like other people get when they get compliments. So they're like, yeah, no. It's not.
Well, I'll tell you some great advice that I got on television from Oprah Winfrey a long time ago. I saw her say this on TV. It made it sound like she told me directly, right? Like, Oprah, what? No, it was on TV. She said, when people show you love, it's God's love coming through them to you. And I never forgot that because God is love, right? I don't know for anybody watching if you believe in God or not, but God is love. So when people compliment you, that's coming from that space, that realm of goodness and love. So God is in some way telling you you're on the right track. They're affirmations. When I first started believing in God, I was walking through downtown and I started getting all these negative thoughts like, oh, maybe this is Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, it's not real. Unbeknownst to me, I was about to slam into a big ass pole. Well, something told me to look up. And when I looked up, I was like this close from beating the shit out of myself on a pole. When I stopped myself to look up, there was a big sticker on that pole that said, trust me. I said, whoa, what are the odds of that? And I've had a lot of woohoo moments. So I know that there's something listening. It's not delusion because what I'm praying to is clearly answering. Clearly, I have not gotten to this point in my life and career through delusion. It's been something is moving me, you know? I literally used to pray for certain things and there they are, truly right in my face.
So I know you're really big on faith and you talk about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But where did that come from? Was it your parents taking you to church? Was it a traumatic experience where you had no one to turn to?
It was an awakening. You know, when people say woke, I believe woke means waking up to realize there's something else going on more so than just what's going on in your brain. I was raised Catholic, but I didn't listen in church. I wanted to go home and play Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
I was looking at this like, and I was like, this is so boring. Well, when I was 14 in high school, my scholastic life was incredible, but I was getting bullied really bad on the bus and the train going to school by grown-ass adults and crazy-ass, hood-ass teenagers. Mm-hmm. So all that bullying fucked with my head.
Yeah.
And I started spiraling into darkness. And when you're that young, you don't fucking know about depression or anxiety and shit like that. My thoughts were getting really, really dark. And nobody knew at school that I was suffering this way because those insults, when you're young and you don't know who you are or what you are or what major or that grounding, when you don't have that, you can fall apart very quickly like a house of cards. So those insults started taking root in my head and it made me think, well, how do I know I'm this or that or that? Am I really the mean things that we're saying? So after suffering mentally for so long with all that crap, one day I came home and I thought about, this is it for me. But there was a book on my bed. Maybe my mom put it there. I think she did. And it introduced me to God in a way that it changed my life.
What kind of book was it?
It was a little book. It was just like God is in the details of stuff. And I said, what is this? And when I opened it and started reading it, it presented like God's word to me in such a way that it saved me, bro. In that moment, it saved me. It told me what I needed to hear, that there is something out there. There is help, that there's more. It's like the eyes opened up. And since I was 14 to now, I've been writing on this. I've had my ups and downs. Like when I was on The Circle, I was going through some stuff nobody knew. And here, look, I went and did this global show and nobody knew I was going through some stuff. So wait till I come back on TV again, bitch. Y'all ain't seen it all yet. But, it's been incredible. Incredible ride. It changed me from the inside out. It helps me to see the world, how to see people, it's beyond, dude. It's not just some man died on a cross for you, bro. No, it's more than that.
I think more of it has to do on the way you are to others and the way you are to yourself, but also, having that faith that things are going to work out. And I'll share this story with you. And I tell people all the time. So the reason I was able to get this house was really because of God. And it gets crazy because do you remember that storm that we had back in March of 2021, where it was like iced over Delasco?
Oh yeah.
So my lease was gonna end to the apartment that I was living at, and right at March, right? So they were like, oh well, you can renew on a month to month or whatever. But prior to that, 6-7 months in, I was already working extra hours at work, putting away money, being hella frugal, overworking. It's crazy, but it gets to the point where like, okay, I got the money for the down payment. It's all coming together. There's an issue where I was waiting on pending transactions to clear. And they're like, well, you got to have them cleared before you can, close. And then they were like, okay, we gave you an extension. It's still not cleared. Okay, cool. And I'm like, all right, well, that storm hit. And when they wanted me to like have the money there, like that was it. I called. I was like, hey, I still don't have it together, but I'll have it to you next week. It says it's going to clear within. I called the bank, blah, blah, blah. They were like, that was the conversation with my realtor. So she said, hey, they said it's not that big of a deal. We can't even meet at the office to close, so we're just wait until we can meet after the storm goes over within a week. So the day they call me, hey, we need to see if we're gonna close on the deal, and then back at the title company, all that. So the day before we were supposed to meet, everything cleared, everything was all good. They were like, okay, boom, you got it. But the funny thing about it is that this was the first house I went to go look at in a span of 3 weeks. But it wasn't the only house. A lot of people think, oh, you went to the first house. No, I went through so many houses in the area. I was getting outbid because back then, like, it was a seller's market. Like, people were getting like overpricing for their houses. And I got lucky because they wanted $217 for this joint. I got it for $197 at appraisal with all the appliances.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
that's God right there.
Boots. No, seriously, down. You will see where God is doing his thing. He sends us little reminders. You just got to have your eyes open to see it. Plus, for people out there, think about it like this. Everything in all of reality is made of little atoms and matter. Where did that come from? Where did everything come from? Science today is saying that everything came from nothing. They're trying to redefine the word nothing. So it either came from something or it came from nothing. What was before the nothing that sparked everything? You see design in everything. How can we as flesh and bone observe the universe and be right about it? It's intentional. It's like we were designed. Like we designed computers. What designed us? We're now making robots and AI. It makes you reflect on yourself. Well, look at my abilities. What gave me this? Okay, evolution and all that. But in order for anything to evolve, life has to be the first thing. What came first, chicken or the egg? Life has to come first before evolution can kick in. What else is going to evolve if there's no life? What made everything come to be? It's clear that there is something behind the curtain. And those big, profound ahas is what even further makes me go, yeah, there has to be something. Because either one, you're gambling in some way. You either believe something's behind the curtain or you don't, but it takes faith to believe both. Because for any human being to say there is no God with such certainty, you would have to be God to say there is no God, because it takes godlike knowledge to make such a claim.
No, 100%.
So it's like, that's where humanity finds itself. I think because of what I've experienced in my life, how I've seen it change my inner life, my mind and everything, and seen it work on the outer world, which I have no control over the universe. I can't control what anybody thinks about me or what opportunities or whatever the fuck. But somehow I get to praying. I ask God, it manifests. Something's listening. Something's listening. We prayed that mom would get those teeth. There they are. One day my mom was in her living room talking about, mijo, I want new furniture. I said, it's coming. There it is. Well, I got so many stories, dude. I'll tell you one that happened a long time ago before I got real woohoo in my spirituality.
Yeah.
My tia passed away in 2002 from a very strong illness called Lou Gehrig's disease. May she rest in peace. We were leaving her funeral, man. My mom is screaming and crying in the car because that was her sister. She said, Marcy, please tell me you're okay. I was in the backseat of the car. We get to a red light. This is a true story. A car rolls up next to us, dude, and the license plate of the car says, I'm okay. Now, you tell me how the fuck that happened.
Exactly.
Something's going on. I mean, come on. Anyways, one day I'll write a book about spirituality, too.
Man, that's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's just, you see it everywhere, and it's, like you said, it goes like my favorite story when it comes to the Bible, and this is a little bit off topic, but it kind of fits into it, is the story of Job.
Yes.
And I love that story because it's basically like a test of faith.
Yes, to keep going no matter. A lot of the stuff in the Bible can be metaphorical also, but it teaches you that if you lose everything, God will show up in the end to give you everything back. Now, that's the Old Testament. When Jesus came in the picture, he changed everything around, everything. We don't have to fear that God is punishing us or doing anything like that. God just corrects people these days because he loves people like any loving parent would. Yeah.
And here's the thing about God is, like, when you ask him for something, he's going to give you things in your path that'll make you ready for the things that you want.
Yes. And I firmly believe that because I didn't know that while I was doing the news, I knew God had told me, learn all this knowledge, take it in, because it's a real world experience. What a blessing. After the circle, Netflix calls me and they're like, we want you to come host this talk show for us. So when I went and they had built this big, beautiful set for the Extra Circle talk show, I knew what I was doing already because I had done the news. It was like a puzzle piece coming together. So you're right. He's preparing you. Right now, you doing this. I hope in 10 years when I look back, like, where's he at now? I'm like, look at that. All of this was preparation for your thing.
You know what? I didn't really think this conversation was going to lead this way because, like, hearing you say all that stuff, it takes me back to a few months ago where I kind of just wanted to, like, I was like, why do I keep doing this? Why am I, like, why? Like, I was like, man, I'm in here so much when I'm not spending time with my girlfriend or my daughter. And then I'm either, like, sacrificing sleep or they're in the room or sacrificing time with them. And it's like, okay, I don't want to keep feeling like I did when I was working to get the house when I used to live in the apartment and have to work 60 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And then 60 hours a week for that's an extra 2 days of work. So I was working 7 days a week straight for about a month or two just before I got like, okay, I can't do this. I need a day off.
Yeah. You're doing it because it brings you joy, man. This is making you happy, right? You get excited being in your studio, all the trinkets and the tech. Ooh, what can I do with this microphone? I get it. It's exciting. It's fun.
I think the most exciting part about it is reflecting back to this one video I have where it's me and my daughter in that bar table chairs, and I'm kind of like showing her how it works because we did it off the iPhone, and we kind of just like, we're just, oh, this is how this works. This is how this works. Looking back, and I don't know. I think me personally, I don't take the time to reflect to everything that we've done in this room and who we've met and who we've talked to and realize like, damn, we really came a long way.
Oh, and it's only going to get better and bigger and more mind-blowing for you. So get ready. Because if I may, I love a scripture that says he can do exceedingly and abundantly more than you can ask for or think. And it's true. So get ready, because God doesn't just bless, he blesses beyond. See, we make God small, but this is the creator of all reality. People might call it the Matrix, but if you think it's the Matrix, who created the simulation? It all goes back to God. He's the simulator. So, okay, the simulator wants to bless you beyond.
I love that. I love the fact that we're having this conversation because, man, like, you are really grounded in your spiritual presence. Like,
it's a lot of work. It is.
So with all that in mind, like, when do you feel like you're at your lowest when it comes to your spirituality, and where do you get that recharge from to go back to being normal?
I think for me, I hit my lowest was a few years ago. I was questioning a lot about my faith and everything, but that was such a, unbeknownst to me, a great season, even though it was really tough mentally when you're questioning everything you believe, right? It brought me to teachers and philosophers and scholars and people who really know, historians, people that really know their shit when it comes to these big, big, profound topics. And they, by the grace of God, taught me more than I ever thought I would have known about spirituality and my faith and the origins of it, that now my faith is more grounded, not just through just belief, like, ooh, but more because of the circumstances surrounding how this all came to be and become. And I think I've been convinced of the evidence. Now my faith has taken an evidential, convincing route. So I'm grounded in that. And my quest for truth, led me down questioning all the faiths, their origins, and choosing which one has the most meat that I can say, oh, this is why people believe this. This is why there's reason to believe this. And once you immerse yourself in that, or God and all that, it teaches you who you are, what you can do, what is true, and that becomes a compass, and that compass gives you Godfidence, like I said on the circle, Godfidence, something beyond yourself. And that's where I draw my strength from, my faith. Because when you know who you are and you know what you can do, you're unstoppable. And if you know your power source is something that is beyond, that is perfection, running through you, downloading through you in real time all the time, oh my gosh, there's no need to be anxious or worried or afraid or shaken by the future or anything, because that thing is working through you constantly everywhere you go. So I can be on stage in front of an audience, I can be on television, I can be radio, I can do anything, and I'm chilling. I'm not afraid of my scenario, my circumstances, nothing. The power of God.
Because God is with you.
Because God is with me and everything's going to be all right. So it's like, and it has always been all right. And sometimes even better than all right. And plus, for anybody out there who might be struggling with severe anxiety or depression or things like that, learn to question your own doubts, anxieties, and fears. What gives that voice its power? There's a voice inside your head. We're a piece of meat. That should already tell you there's something going on behind the curtain. But when people listen to their fears and their anxieties and their doubts, it's producing your own little religion in some way. What gave that the all-being arbiter of all truth authority? You ain't gonna be shit. You ain't nothing. You're ugly. Your life sucks. You should rather die. All the horrible thoughts that cross a human's mind. Learn to question them bitches and be like, the fuck, where'd you get the truth from? Or how do I know that's true? And then once you reach that crossroads, now you're on a truth journey. Now you're seeking for what is true, you know? And once you get there, that's the fun part. Now go study the religions. And what really gets me about Jesus, it's so fascinating. And he was only in his 30s. And this man is calling himself the truth, the way, the life. That in order to get to God, you have to go through me and me only. You'd either have to be crazy as hell out of your ass to call yourself something like that, or you really are what you're saying, you know? And things like that, when you go down those learning roads and rabbit holes, you eventually get to somewhere. And when you get to somewhere, it's that moment that I'm at right now where I'm like, okay, here we are.
What's next?
And it's a beautiful place to be at, because you wake up and you're like, lead the way.
So I know earlier you alluded to you going through some sort of tough time while you were on the show. And that must have been tough if you're like, one, out of the state, but away from family for so long. So how did you kind of, I mean, if you want to break the fourth wall with that, you can. I don't know if you're going to have an NDA of how the show works, or you can kind of talk about it a bit. But what kind of things were you going through when you were away, like for that long doing the show?
I think what I was going through some big time. When I was at my audition in Los Angeles, the 4-day audition for The Circle, I had put on some spiritual YouTube stuff to keep me company, because you want to be in that zone. You're about to do a big audition. And I came across a documentary. I had it playing while I'm doing my makeup and hair. And it's saying that everything I believed in was hocus pocus. I had never seen anything that made me question my faith. That rocked the shit out of me. So I'm now in LA. I have to go audition in front of these very powerful people. And now my mind got shaken. Well, I was shaken all the way through The Circle too. But there was something deep down in my core that said, don't give up, hang on, hang on. And so if you go back to season 1, I have a big white notebook. That notebook is filled with a bunch of scriptures and powerful verses that kept me on that path. And look, it didn't steer me wrong. The reception I got from the world, the public opinion, everything I've heard from the people working on the show, it was all a miracle. Here I was going through a faith shaking, and look what God did with me through that adversity.
It was most, I mean, you explaining it that way goes back to something I've seen on another podcast well, I'll tell you, it's George Janko. I watch a lot of George Janko. If you don't watch George Janko, you should watch George Janko. You should.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
for the recommendation.
No, you're going to love the George Janko podcast. If you're faith-based like that, you're going to love it, because he interviews so many crazy people. But, let's get back on track. It reminds me of this thing where he talks about all the time. In his whole example, he's like, he doesn't get the house unless he's ready. He has to show that he's ready for the house. So you being on the show going through that, having that down in your ear because of that piece of content you've seen.
Yes.
It's basically God's way of testing your faith. Be like, okay, are you ready for what I'm about to give you?
Yes.
So you have to prove to me that you're ready by dealing with this tribulation that you're dealing with. And if you can overcome it, keep your faith and, you know, maintain your composure, then you're going to get everything that's going to come with the show.
Well, I am, now that I'm outside of that struggle, I look back with gratitude for that test. It was a test. Because when you immerse yourself in the scriptures, it talks about he will test you. And I was tested boots. And I'm so happy that I've learned what I've learned and can teach now to help someone who's going through their tests. You know, keep the faith, stay with it. You know, there's rewards to be had for staying on this. And it's a beautiful path anyways. It makes you more lovable, more kind to people. It's amazing. I could talk about this for years, y'all. But if you're going through some shit out there, keep going and don't give up. Don't make permanent decisions for temporary problems. God really is faithful. And if you're struggling, I'm telling you, the sun is going to come out tomorrow and it is going to be a better day. Just be patient with yourself. Baby steps. Baby steps. Let me tell you, some of the smartest people that have ever walked this planet have been believers. So you're in great company. Keep believing. Keep believing. Don't rush your cake. Let it bake.
I like that. Man, that's crazy. I normally just go about an hour, but before we end this, how much of the show can we talk about?
Oh, tons.
Really?
We could talk about
Do you have
tons.
questions back there? Because it's funny.
Tons.
I'm going to tell you a quick story. I mean, we've seen the show maybe 3 or 4 times. And we only watched season 1. And I don't know. I mean, normally I don't have the controller in my hand. I don't get the controller. So we've watched season 1 maybe 3 or 4 times. And we're always kind of like picking the show apart. So how long did you guys film for?
About 2 weeks.
That was 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks of filming. I was in Europe for about a month, 2 weeks as a tourist. And then the second week on a Thursday, my chaperone was screaming. He was like, you got on the show. I didn't know we were still being auditioned. So I made it that Thursday of the following week. And then the next day was showtime. So I was like, Lord, here we go. And I mean, I look at that season with such amazing eyes. Like, thank God.
Do you feel like you filming for 2 weeks was the test? Or do you feel like the doubt in your head and dealing with that was the test for you?
Oh, it was everything. But that show will forever be my reminder that God is with me through any storm and that he's faithful, because the public, the way they received me, the articles I read, how people are like, this is the realest bitch on the show. I mean, all the kindness from the world. Normally, some gay people go on TV and it can be hard. They're either going to rip you to shreds or they're going to love you. I can say my experience has been 99.9% positive. That's a miracle itself. So it is God telling me, look at what we can do. And even though it was hard, look at what we did. And now look where we're going. You know, you have to know who you are to know where you're going.
No, most definitely. Do you have a question back there?
Oh, no.
That you wanted to ask him?
Whatever you had on that paper.
I'm here for y'all. I'm in no rush. Take your time. I know you can always edit anything you need to cut out.
For sure. No, because she was like, I don't know what to ask him. I want to ask him this and this and that.
Do I still talk to everybody? Yes. Yes.
Oh, I feel like that's the main question people ask, huh?
I talk to everybody normally after every season of The Circle, they do a big reunion party.
And they just added next 7. They add, all right, 5 more people to the party. 5 more people to the party.
It's phenomenal. I love seeing all the kitty cats because a lot of them grew up watching our season 5 years ago. And so it's so fun. I am excited to meet them. And I get along, thankfully to God, with pretty much everybody from all seasons.
So she's a really big fan of Friends, right?
Yes.
So I compared the last 5 of y'all to like a modern day version of Friends.
Oh,
No,
yes.
really.
Oh, dude. Joey Sasso, phenomenal human being. when I went to LA for one of the reunion parties, he was like, no, you're staying with me. So I stayed at his apartment for about a week. He is so sweet and hilarious and hyper and goofy. He let me sleep in his bed. He was like, no, you're taking my bed. I'll sleep on the couch. What a gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him. Shubham, incredible. Shubi came to Dallas last year and we went out and partied. Sammy came to Dallas. I was meeting her beautiful baby. Yeah, oh God, yes. Miranda, I would stay at Miranda's house every time I'd go to LA for work or whatever. Everyone, Alana from Brownsville, we get along too. She came to Dallas, we were partying at the clubs. I love them all. And then the newer seasons like Oliver Twix, oh God, Garrett, all of them, Kay Fern, everybody. I just went to the wedding in Houston for Jadeja and Darian. They got married. I was so happy to be down there, and a lot of other cast members were there. Daniel, everybody. Oh, it's just wonderful.
Man, that's crazy.
Wonderful.
So in that filming, I mean, how much of the story did they let you guys in on before, or did they tell you, okay, this is how it's gonna go, this is how it's gonna go, this is how it's gonna go?
No, everything's real. Everything you see is real. We do have like a producer on a speaker who's taking care of us, make sure nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
And they kind of help you if you get lost in the game. They're like, who would you like to talk to today? I'm like, oh, I want to talk to Sammy. And they're like, okay, we'll make that happen. Everything is real. What you saw is real. I didn't know who that Jonas brother was. The fuck? I grew up with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. So when they're like, who's this Jonas brother? I was like, Clayton, Mike. I don't freaking know. I forgot what they said, but I got on TikTok late. And I get on TikTok right after the circle, maybe a year or so afterwards. Joey and all them were teaching me how to do it. I get on the TikTok. So much of our shit had been massive viral, like millions of views. So when I got on TikTok, people were like, oh my God, you're finally here. I got to the party way too late. They started changing the algorithm and everything, but that's all right. I'm still there. And I'm a pop culture crazy but fanatic, so I post a lot of fun pop culture segments or my little shows that I'm out there doing out in the world. It's fun.
Man, that's interesting. So did they take away your phones when you guys were filming, so you guys didn't talk?
Yes, they
How
take
was
your...
that? That is like,
Oh.
how is that? Because I mean, like, nowadays,
It's easy
no,
for me.
Really?
Yes, for me it is because of like my spiritual practice, and I grew up in the 90s, so I know how to communicate with people still. I'm not just constantly on this. I mean, I'm constantly on it because it's work,
Yeah.
but I can live without it. Like, look, here we've been for like an hour.
Just
I don't need to look at the phone, you know?
no, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny. Most of the time, my phone rings. It's because of the Ring camera, and I'm just like, oh, another car passing by.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's in the back sometimes. Like, who's that? I was like, the Ring camera.
The Ring camera. I mean, yeah, dude, it was a wonderful time growing up in the 90s. It taught us how to be humans. And I would encourage all the young people out there to not fight the anxiety, but go through it and realize it's nothing to be afraid of. Don't be afraid of your own brain. Don't be afraid of yourself. Don't be afraid of people. It's just making noise with your mouth, speaking. That's it.
And you see, here's the thing. Like, I grew up in 90s. I was born in 96, right? So I lived in Fort Worth. I basically grew up in Oak Cliff, like right off of 6-7 and Polk.
Hey.
That's where I lived. And then between the 3 or 4 apartments around there, we either moved around a lot or stayed in one for X amount of years before they're like, oh, hey, look, this one has a move-in special for $99. We need to save some money. All right, let's go over there and catch that special, whatever. But we were always outside. And, you know, we were outside, get out of school, knock, knock, knock. Hey, can you come out? Hey, can you come out? Can you come out? But nowadays, it's just so crazy because you cannot be like that in public with kids.
We had it so good. The
Yeah.
bikes, the roller skates.
I was telling my daughter, I was like, you know, when I was a kid, I had a bike. And I don't even know, I don't remember how I got the Bluetooth speaker, but I had a Bluetooth speaker. And I would mount that thing onto my bike and plug in my iPod, my little iPod Nano. And I'd plug it in and then put some tape on the bike and I'd change it like that with the speaker playing on the bike.
How fun. Wasn't it amazing? All of that. Even what we grew up listening to. Selena, NSYNC. I mean, God, all that Spice Girls.
You know what? I remember growing up, so it was my sister and I, we shared a room. And then we had this big ass boombox that we had, but we never turned it off. We always just lower the volume, raise it up. It was either always on 102.1, 97.1, 106.1.
Yeah.
Back when radio was what you'd listen to.
The bomb, dude. It was so much fun. None of that exists no more.
No.
It's so sad, but I'm grateful it made us who we are. Because I see all the young kids out at the clubs trying to look 90s, and it's like, y'all do it, honey. Do it. But I lived it. I lived it. It's amazing.
So before we wrap this up, what are 3 things you're grateful for?
Oh, I'm grateful for, thank you, God, truly for everything. I'm grateful for my parents, and I'm grateful for good health, good mental health. And I'm grateful for so many things, especially all the people for the last 5 years who have been on this journey with all of us who are associated with the circle, any of that. Thank you for your love, for your support, for your kindness, for the cameos, for everything, everything. Thank you. Because of you, I have hairspray. Thank you for the hairspray.
Man, that's very rewarding.
Yes.
Especially just thinking, oh man. So, okay, that was supposed to be my last question, but really, what do you have going on now? Like, is there anything you want to plug in aside from your social media, projects you're working on?
Oh man, I'm so happy. I just got back from San Antonio. They booked me to come be the Grand Marshal of their Pride Parade, which was just beyond, because again, I was on the circle 5 years later, but to think that the people were out there wanting this to happen, I was like, what a blessing. God willing, here soon will be, I think, going to Florida for the first time ever in my life for an event that I'm going to be hosting out there, God willing. And I am also filming the Sapphire show. I'm slowly soft launching my podcast. People have already noticed my set and the everything, and I'm like, it's coming, girl, because they've been asking for it. But I'm out on location throughout Texas and Dallas, showcasing fun locations right now with the Sapphire show. And I am so happy the people have been enjoying it. I posted all on Facebook, all the social media lands, and it'll go viral here or there on this one. And I'm just so grateful because I love showcasing Dallas and everything, and I want the world to see it. But I know God always does it bigger. So right now I'm just focusing on the Sapphire show, getting that out there going.
No, and one thing we can take away here from Dallas is that there is so much untapped potential here. And a lot of people don't realize it. They think you have to go to Austin for, work, or you need to go to LA or New York. And yeah, the opportunities are there. But I think it's up to us as members of our community to make the opportunity here. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. But I also believe that don't dream it, be it. If you want to be on TV, honey, you start searching for auditions. You start following people on Instagram that are always casting folks. Go to the search on Instagram and type in casting director. Anybody that pops up, go start following those people. And when they are looking for folks, whether for Big Brother or whatever, apply. You have nothing to lose. And I will give you a nugget of advice. This is my camera, right? This one right here?
This one.
It'd be funny if I've been looking at the wrong camera the whole time. People go, what do I need to do to get on reality TV? One, I would say, don't talk about it, be about it. And by that, I mean, when they sit your ass down and they say, tell us about you. A lot of folks make the mistake by saying, oh, I'm funny, I'm the life of the party, I'm this and that. Don't say you are. Be it in that moment. Crack the jokes, make them laugh, show them what you can do, and that'll help you way more, okay? So when you go in there and they're like, so tell us your name, age, where you're from. Hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm this old, I'm from this place. And honey, I got a flat tire on my way here. And last night somebody told me my BBL stinks. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been single so damn long, honey. I got spider webs in my coochie. But I think I could fall in love on your show. Them casting directors gonna be like, who the fuck is this crazy bitch that just came up in here? And I promise you, that's what they're looking for.
Man, it's funny because I don't know if you watch Family Guy or if you're seen it, but there's this one cutaway that they do. They're like, oh, when Stewie auditions for the real world, and he's like, hi, my name's Stewie, blah blah blah, and I'm not afraid to go there. And then he starts dancing in the camera. He's like, look at my fanny, look at my fanny, look at my fanny.
all of that. Talk to the casting people like they're your best friend, like you would to your best friend. You're not gonna tell your best friend, oh, you're gonna talk, you know,
Right.
like be that.
Man.
And I wish you all the best.
Ooh, Chris, I appreciate you making the drive from The middle of nowhere.
Yes, I'm over there at Mesquite, Ball Springs, Pleasant Grove area, all that, honey.
So, real quick, is that where where you were born and raised, or were you born and raised somewhere else and just kind of like settled there?
I'm from Oak Cliff.
Which part?
I grew up right there on Clarendon and Westmoreland, where the Jack in the Box and the Walgreens is at.
I know where that. Yeah.
I grew up right there around the corner on Barnett Street. And in the early 90s, we left Oak Cliff and moved to Pleasant Grove because they kept robbing our house. Y'all know how it was back in the 90s. Don't play. It ain't like that no more. But it used to be very that. So that's why we left. And somebody out there is probably like, well, Pleasant Grove ain't no better. At that time, we moved to an area in Pleasant Grove where it was still the last remnants of the white folks that still live there. And of course, they all left as the 90s went on because, it got really...
They went over to the nice part of Garland.
It got, you know how it got. But all of Dallas now, as we see it, everybody, it's being gentrified severely everywhere. Oak Cliff ain't the hood no more. Pleasant Grove, they're going to build some luxury apartments at the Buckner train station. Here it comes.
They're already like starting to gentrify over there by Corinth Station. I got a buddy who lives out there, and he's always telling me, "Oh, hey, this house just got knocked down. Hey, this house just got knocked down." Yes. I kind of see it too because I help out this one guy who does luxury real estate development with content in his YouTube, and I see all the neighborhoods we're going at, all the people like he's like, "Oh, this house just got built. They just bought this land." He's just pointing. I was like, shit.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. And now it's like so expensive. You got to be like a multimillionaire or whatever to buy any home in Oak Cliff. A nice big home, So it is Dallas. It is Dallas. Come on down. They're predicting it's going to be the biggest metro in the entire country by the year 2100. We'll be dead by then, but they're saying it will be. So
hey, I'm all for it, especially when they get that shuttle from Houston, here, Houston and San Antonio, where it's supposed to be the Austin.
Can they already come on and build the bullet train?
Bro, we've been talking about that shit for fucking forever.
Build the damn train, bitch. Not everybody wants to be on a plane. Build the damn train. We already voted for all this shit.
I got a buddy who lives in San Antonio. He's always flying, catching flights and whatnot to like go to MMA fights, wrestling events. For fun, because that's just the kind of guy he is.
That's it.
And he's like, man, it's crazy because I wish I could just like take the train, you can be here and whatnot instead of having to pay Southwest Airlines economy fee for like 45 minutes.
People, please vote better. Just please vote better. Do better. Research. Look at everything. Figure out the truth. Especially you believe in God, you're a truth seeker. Go find out the truth. Vote better. Who's stopping the progress? Go look for yourself. I ain't even got to say nothing. Go look for yourself.
Chris, I appreciate you making the time to come out here. And
thank you.
Just like the Mexicans that we are, hold on, Hispanics. Are you Mexican?
I believe I'm Mexican.
I don't know. I don't want to say Mexican.
What would you call me? My dad's from Durango. My mom's from Brownsville. I was born in Dallas.
You did mention that. Yeah, that's right.
Does that make me Mexican American or American?
I don't know. A lot of people, it's funny because I had these comedians on. I was like, I'm Hispanic. And they were like, Hispanic? What do you mean by Hispanic? I was like, when I checked the little box on the paper, it says Hispanic. My mom was born in Brownsville. My dad was born in Matamoros.
I have family over there. Look, see, ooh. But I was gonna tell you, my dad is from Durango. He's got greenish blue eyes and light skin and looks like a white dude. I came out brown because of my mom. My dad's family migrated to Mexico from Germany.
Shit.
But they spoke Spanish because they were there, I think like Mennonites or something like that. So that makes me German, Mexican, Texan. And then before my grandpa passed away on my mom's side, he said we had Asian blood. So now he's talking about Chinese. So we are the world. We are the children. It's like I'm an amalgamation of all kinds of stuff. So I think that's why nobody looks like me.
You ever take my ancestry test?
Not yet, but I want to. But when I'm out in the world, like nobody, I don't know. You know how you see doppelgangers? I've never met mine yet.
I see them all the time, I swear. And then she's always like, no, that doesn't look like him. I was like, no, look at the person. Like,
yes.
I was like, look, you're expecting to see an exact replica. But look at their facial features. Look how they carry themselves.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at their face shape, hair shape. I'm like looking at individual features that leads me to the conclusion that, hey, there goes a doppelganger. That person looks like this.
I've seen doppelgangers too, dude. It's so much fun. And when I run into those articles about celebrity doppelgangers, I'm like, oh my God, they do. Like the other night I was watching Clueless. And I swear, Brittany Murphy in some little angles looks like Gwen Stefani. In some angles, go look at it and go Google Gwen Stefani, Brittany Murphy, and see what pops up. It's gonna blow you away.
You know what's crazy? The other day, well, it was maybe 3 weeks ago. I was at work, right? And we'll wrap up after this. But I swear, I thought I saw Dakota Johnson walk in.
Oh, it happens.
No. But check this.
It happens.
And here's what I feel like confirmed it for me, because she walked into the building. She was quiet, went straight to the restroom, kind of like looked around, looked back down, and walked out.
Oh yeah, it
I was like,
happens.
oh shit, that's Dakota Johnson right there.
Yeah.
I was like,
There's a ton of celebrities in Dallas. If you go to North Park, I've been at North Park. I run into Andre 3000. Is that Andre 3000? I was gonna say Andre 2000. Andre 3000. Sorry, y'all, I haven't had breakfast. And I've seen Erykah Badu. I've seen Tawdra Hall out walking the streets. Who else have I seen out playing skills? Yeah, you will see people all over. Jessica Simpson's from here. Demi Lovato's from here. Selena Gomez is from here. Jamie Foxx is from here. Who else? There's a bunch of stars that are from this area. The Jonas Brothers are from here. I mean, so it's not far-fetched. You'll see stars walking around. I heard Beyonce was eating at a restaurant in Oak Cliff after one of her shows a few years ago. So you run into anybody, honey.
yeah.
He actually ran into Benny Blanco that
See?
one time.
No, it's
Well, he
'cause-
didn't run
no,
into
I didn't
him.
run into him. So a couple of months ago, I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw it on TikTok, but Benny Blanco was doing like a pop-up.
I saw, yeah.
I was there. I took my daughter because she wanted to see Selena. Obviously, Selena Gomez, with what she got going on, wasn't going to get out the van, but there was always a slight possibility. So my daughter was like, oh my God, can we go see Selena? I was like, you know what? All right. I drove around the little snow cone shop. I was like, oh, it's chaos over here.
See?
But we parked anyways, and I put her on my shoulders. I was like, look, Selena's definitely in that van. But the windows are tinted. She's not going to be in there. But if you look good enough, she might be looking back at you. But here, let's go look at Benny Blanco for a little bit.
Aw, she'll never forget that moment. You see what you did? That's awesome.
It's funny. Yeah. But you guys, we are going to end this with our third goodbye. Because if you're Hispanic, Mexican, Honduran, Salvadorian, whatever you want to call yourself, you know, in the Latino culture, you have to say goodbye at least 3 to 4 times before you cut it. So,
Eso sí es verdad. Perdón, mi español no es perfecto, pero sí lo entiendo. Y sí sé cómo decir, tengo hambre. ¿Venden horchata?
ladies and gentlemen, Chris Sapphire.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you making
Many
the drive.
blessings to you, bro. To everybody watching. Keep going, honey. Don't stop till you get enough. And once you get enough, keep going.
I love it.